While some countries are still upgrading their old jets, America's already building a 6th-generation fighter that's set to rule the skies. The Next Generation Air Dominance or NGAD program is pushing the limits with crazy tech, stealth and drones that fly alongside it. In this video, we're spilling the latest on NGAD, its game-changing features and when it might take off. Let's dive into the future of air combat. This thing's gonna be wild. Back in the early 2010s, the US kicked off NGAD to create a fighter ready for the 2030s. It's got a few names, NGAD, FX, Penetrating Counter-Air, but don't mix it up with the Navy's FA-XX, which is replacing the FA-18 Super Hornet. NGAD's job is to give the Air Force a 6th-gen jet that dominates the sky. It's not just a plane, it's a whole system with super-smart drones, long-range weapons, and tech to outmatch rivals like China's J-20 or Russia's Su-57. The goal? Keep America's air power untouchable, especially in hotspots like the Pacific or Europe. NGAD's packed with next-level tech stealth to dodge radar, digital design to cut costs, heat control to stay sneaky, and propulsion to fly far and fast. Drones, called loyal wingmen, will tag along, carrying extra missiles or scouting ahead. These drones boost range and firepower, letting NGAD tackle threats across huge distances, like in the Indo-Pacific. The program's building two versions, a long-range jet for Pacific ops, and a shorter-range one for Europe's tighter battlefields. Just the fact that NGAD exists has aviation geeks and military pros buzzing worldwide. In 2020, Air Force official Will Roper dropped a bombshell. A full-scale NGAD prototype had already flown. He called it truly magical, saying it smashed records but kept mum on details. Where, when, or who built it. No pics, no specs, nothing. This secrecy sparked wild guesses. Some even wondered if new players like SpaceX could jump in, since the US defense industry's down to 3 big names: Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman. A fresh face could shake things up, especially with NGAD threatening older jets like the F-35 and F-15X. Roper's big idea, the Digital Century series, really flips how jets are made. Instead of sticking with one jet for like 30 years, NGAD uses digital tools like 3-dimensional modeling to build new fighters faster and cheaper. Think of it like the 1950s, when the Air Force bought 6 different jets in just a few years. Digital manufacturing, which has already been tested on the T-7 trainer and the NGAD prototype, actually cuts costs by 10% over 30 years compared to the F-35S. The Air Force could buy a new jet every 8 years, replacing them at 16 years or 3,500 flight hours, well before repairs get pricey. This keeps the fleet fresh and rivals like China scrambling. NGAD's design really saves money in the long run. Instead of relying on one do-it-all jet, it shares parts, like cockpits, engines, and software, across different variants. This makes fixes and upgrades way easier, kind of like swapping parts on a car. The Air Force won't have to sink billions up front. They'll spread the costs, buying 50 to 80 jets per batch. Roper said, yeah, development costs might rise by 25%, and manufacturing by 18%, but slashing upgrade costs by 80% and maintenance by 50% totally makes it worth it. In 2021, NGAD got $904 million, which is pretty close to its $1 billion yearly goal, showing the Air Force is all in. A sneaky 2020 Air Force anniversary post showed a mystery jet with a triangle shape, totally unlike Boeing or Lockheed's older NGAD concepts. Its nozzles echoed the YF-23, that 1990s stealth fighter that lost to the F-22. Some folks called it too sci-fi, maybe just art, but it definitely hinted at NGAD's look, a tailless flying wing for stealth and speed. In 2021, a model popped up at Lockheed's Mojave Desert site, right near Skunk Works. The team behind the F-117 satellite pics from Area 51 showed a 65-foot-long, 49-foot-wide delta-winged object, about F-22, sized, in a new hangar. And that really sparked NGAD buzz. It's all just guesses for now, but honestly, the clues are piling up. Engines are honestly a big deal. NGAD will use adaptive cycle engines from the Adaptive Engine Transition Program, or AETP, like GE's XA100. Tested back in 2021, these engines can switch between high-thrust mode for speed and high-efficiency mode for range. They use ceramic and polymer composites along with 3D printed parts, which boosts thrust by 10% and fuel economy by 25%. They also handle heat better, keeping those stealthy jets nice and cool. Testing is still going on at Arnold Engineering Development Complex, with the goal of a first flight in 2025 though. COVID might push that back a bit. And these engines could also end up powering F-35s, which would basically double their impact. NGAD's design leans stealthy, with no tail and a sleek shape to dodge radar. Most concepts keep a cockpit, meaning pilots stay in the mix despite AI and drone controls. Unmanned versions are possible, letting ground crews fly it remotely. Weapons are hush-hush, but air-to-air missiles are a sure bet, maybe hypersonics or lasers down the line. The real shocker? The prototype was built in just 1 year, a speed unseen since World War II. Compare that to China's J-20, which took 10 years, or Russia's Su-57, still not mass-produced since 2010. NGAD's fast track keeps America ahead. Rivals are lagging. Russia's MiG-41, a high-altitude interceptor, claims Mach 4.3 speed and Arctic ops, but since 2018 it's barely moved. Russia's cash-strapped. Europe's Future Combat Air System, led by Dassault and Airbus, won't fly until 2027 with service in 2040. NGAD's timeline, first flight by 2025, service in the 2030s, leaves them in the dust. China's 6th-gen jet is a mystery, but NGAD's quick builds and drone swarms could keep Beijing on edge. NGAD's not perfect. Its $1 billion a year budget could strain funds, especially with F-35 upgrades ongoing. Digital manufacturing's untested at scale, glitches could delay batches. Drones add complexity, sinking them in combat is a headache. Unmanned variants risk cyber hacks, and AI's not foolproof yet. Rivals might counter with cheap drone swarms or hypersonics, forcing NGAD to adapt fast. Still, its speed, stealth, and flexibility make it a nightmare for enemies. NGAD could reshape air power. Its drones stretch range, letting it strike deep in the Pacific. Fast builds mean the Air Force stays ahead, swapping jets before they age. Shared parts cut costs, freeing cash for lasers or AI. If Lockheed, Boeing, or a wildcard like SpaceX nails it, NGAD might outshine the F-22 and F-35. What features do you want in this beast? Drop your ideas in the comments, especially if you're an aviation nut. Hit like, subscribe, and check our videos on the F-35 and drones for more. NGAD's coming to own the skies.